Hey man, what's up? What's happening? You already know who it is and what it is. It's your boy Nephew Q here with another installment of Conversations with Q, a show about life, love, entertainment, sports, society, culture, and everything in between. But before we get into today's episode, let me introduce my guest. Now, I got my boy D Money back on the show because the last episode we did together, I posted the clip on Instagram and it's at 30,000 views right now. So we had to run it back and give the people what they want. But in case y'all don't know who I got in the building with me today, I got Sports and Discourse very own Derek Stevenson, aka D Money.
Yes, sir, man. Happy to be back, man.
So, it's been a while. I had a situation in December that, took me away from this, but we back in it. So today's episode, I got something right here. It says, I'm falling in love with my husband's friend. Now, what me and D Money gonna do, I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna read this scenario, this letter right here that I got. We're gonna give our take on what this person should do in this situation. So here it is. I am unhappily married woman with young children. I'm attracted to a friend of mine and my husband's, but he is also married. He's a bit older, and I can't tell for sure if he has feelings for me, but sometimes I suspect it. He has made me jewelry and gifts, and I caught him looking at me a few times. We have exchanged messages on social media, and he often asks me questions about myself, what I like, etc., etc. He's just so quiet that I can't tell if he means anything. I could never leave my husband and break up my family, and I could never break up someone else's family, but I'm starting to wonder and sometimes think, am I falling in love with him? What should I do? D Money, you being a married man, not to say that you've ever been in this situation, which I believe you have not been in this situation, but maybe you know somebody who has been in this situation. This is a unhappily married woman who is falling in love with her husband's friend. Uh-huh. What's your take on this, man?
Well, one of the things that stood out to me was when she first said, I would never break up my family, and then I would never break up somebody else's family. But what do you think I should do? Shit, what are you asking the question for? You would never break up nobody's family, so you know what to do, right? But obviously, she's considering breaking up her family.
Obviously, because why would you even be worried about, if he likes you back and you might suspect it? Well, why are you worried about that if you ain't trying to break up your family?
Yeah. And see, man, this is just the honest truth. You have to guard your personal relationship to a degree, right? And what I mean by that is, like, when I was younger, and probably a lot of people, was the same way, you just hanging with the fellas all day. Mm-hmm. So if somebody has a chick, she might be included in that just because you gonna be with the bros.
Right.
So it's like you can either be by yourself or you can come with us.
Hang with us. Mm-hmm.
But we gonna be doing what we do. If it's just riding in the car smoking, or if it's at the crib playing video games. Mm-hmm. When you're younger, you just hang with your guys.
Right.
Like me, now that I'm older, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's hard to catch me without my wife.
That's right.
If I'm not at work, I'm usually at the crib. And if I come out the crib, I don't really like coming out the crib that much. If I do, I usually leave for something important. For instance, coming to do your show. Mm-hmm. But as soon as I get done, I'm going right back to the crib with my wife. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you get older, you have to guard your relationship. Because I do think that if you are around somebody enough, you can start to think that you have feelings or even possibly develop feelings for somebody if you're around them so much. That's why a lot of times if you see people have, affairs with somebody they work with, stuff like that, that's just because they be around each other a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I think that like at the age that I am now, like there's people that's close to me that know my wife, but I really don't just be constantly having people chilling with me and my wife.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's never going to be a time where somebody's going to be close enough.
Do they misread the situation?
Or there's not going to be somebody coming around enough to where my wife could develop feelings for them. Like, I just kind of keep my shit with my wife between me and my wife. You know what I'm saying? So I think I don't know how old they are, but I think at some point you got to just keep your relationship close. Like, and I'm not saying you got to like hide it from the world or be private, but like you should at some point when you reach a certain age of maturity, you should do things more like just you and your partner,
Yeah,
without everybody else.
Yeah, man. A couple of different things as you was talking hit me with this, and she's unhappily married. Okay, my first thought is, have you expressed this to your husband that you're unhappily married?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay. And so we was talking, and it made me realize, what if she's just misreading the situation, because the husband's friend could just be a really nice guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's married, so, and maybe he's just being nice because that's his homeboy's girl. You know what I'm saying? So he's just going out his way and being nice for her.
That's understandable.
And she's just misreading the situation because she's unhappy.
Yeah.
So she's searching for something to grab onto as far as happiness or something that, she likes. So him being nice to her, which obviously her husband probably not.
Yeah.
She's gravitating towards that and probably misreading the whole situation. He's probably just being nice. And because that's his homeboy's girl and her being unhappy, she's like, oh, does he like me? No, I got you this jewelry because you're my dude's girl. And, I made something for my wife. Made one for you. It ain't even that serious. And she said that they've exchanged messages on social media. And he asked me questions about myself. What are these type of questions, though? Is it simple, basic questions like, trying to just get to know you? Now, the social media part is kind of like sketchy a little bit because it's like, why are you exchanging messages on social media? But if it's just like, hey, if he's trying to figure out what you're into, because maybe you and his wife could, do some things. But again, maybe that's a conversation for them two to have. But again, him asking questions about yourself, I don't see why you would take that and twist it around to make it seem like he's trying to inquire about you for a specific reason to cheat or anything like that.
Yeah. And maybe he is, but at the same time, if you unhappily married, you should address that with your husband first, because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to have nothing real with his friend regardless.
Facts.
Because that's just going to cause too much
It's
conflict.
It's going to be weird, and it's just a lot going on.
Like they going to have to decide that they not going to be friends and just be like, fuck all the history that they got if you and him was going to actually pursue something, because he's not going to be friends with him no more. If you leave your husband to
mess
be with his friend,
come on,
they
bro.
not friends.
We can't be friends no more.
Unless he just really don't like you either, and he's just a different type of dude that's just like whatever, like, you know what I mean? But in most cases, their friendship will be over. If you develop some kind of friendship with his wife, that would be over.
Yeah. Like, so you got 4 people. That's extremely messy, bro.
Yeah.
That's extremely messy. And then on the fact she said she has young children, you get, so the young kids is now wondering, why are we over at my daddy's friend's house?
Like, because they probably know him well.
Yeah.
Because most guys have, built relationships from childhood.
Right.
You gain a few friends here and there, when you get older and different walks of life, you will add some friends. But a lot of guys have the same core group of friends that they've been like playing in the sandbox with,
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So 9 times out of 10, you was probably there when they kids was born. You know what I'm saying? Like, you in the weight room.
Yeah.
You calling him nephew. You know what I'm saying? Even if that's not your real brother, you calling him nephew. Like my one of my best friends, he was my best man in his wedding. He's a white dude,
mm-hmm.
and his kids call me uncle, and I don't even think that they know I'm not really their uncle. You know what I'm saying?
But that you've been around, so they just know you as uncle.
They might now, but at one point they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, so. That's just how weird that could be, because like his kids might look at him as like an extended family member, or maybe not even aware that it's really not a family member. So
man,
that's just a weird situation, but she probably needs to address.
Final verdict. What should she do?
She needs to just try to explain to her husband that something's missing and see if it's something that they can work on, because maybe it might just be a miscommunication with your husband. You might just tell him what's going on. Because I don't think there's nothing wrong with having those type of conversations. Like me personally, sometimes I'll just check with my wife and be like, you know what I'm saying? Am I failing you as a husband, or am I doing a good job? Like,
That's very mature.
Are you good with, how I'm rocking, how I'm moving?
So you opening the door for her to express if anything's wrong.
I'd rather for my wife to tell me that, hey, I'm not happy about this, but do this and it's fixed, versus go give up some pussy. You know what I'm saying?
Because you say you can come back from the unhappiness and whatever.
Yeah.
You can that. I don't know if we can come back from that.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's cool to just have a conversation and just ask your partner, like, are you good? Like, do you feel, you know what I'm saying, fulfilled? Whatever. And my wife might hit me with be like, you know what I'm saying, you ain't took me out in a few weeks and made me feel some type of way. And I'd be like, all right, cool. And I take her out. She feel good again. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you can fix stuff that ain't really that serious if you just have good communication. But if you just sitting there and you just, going to that level, like you going super left, like to the point where you thinking about if you're in love with his friends, man, you need to really like try to like see what's going on in your relationship to where you would even be looking at his friend like that. You know what I'm saying? So she just got a lot of, you know what I'm saying, issues that she need to work on. Mm. But if he ever gets wind of it, he might want to reevaluate it.
Yeah.
I know they got kids, but he may need to reevaluate if that's even where he want to be at.
So, ma'am, if you're watching right now, follow Derek's advice. For me, I'm going to just keep it real quaint and simple. If you're that unhappy to where it's one thing to be unhappy and you go outside your marriage. That's just one thing. But to go outside your marriage and consider doing it with your husband's friend, that's a totally different ball game. And if that's how you feeling that you need to do, then maybe you need to reevaluate your marriage, and maybe that might not be the marriage for you. Not to say that just because you're unhappy you should leave, but it's the fact that you're willing to take that extra step to not only cheat, but to do it with your husband's friend.
And she thinks she is in love, so she has feelings.
She has feelings, yes.
She just ain't sure if it's love or not. But if you even think that it may be love, you have feelings.
You have feelings. Otherwise, why are you feeling this way? But anyways, that's our thoughts, views, and opinions on the situation. Comment down below your advice on what this person should do in this situation, or this woman should do in this situation. We getting ready to get up out here. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to Sports and Discourse on YouTube. Make sure you download the podcast on all major podcast streaming platforms. Do the same thing for Conversations with Q. We getting ready to get on up out here. And as always, treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. We up at this thing, y'all. Peace.